it is time to tell you about the weird, the wild, the sweaty, and most of all, ambitious world of Dune, 1984.
I'm not in the mood.
Dune 84 attempts to cram the entire first book into its 2 hours and 17-minute runtime. And oh, what a fever dream that 2-hour runtime is.
Do you smell it?
Yes!
This movie was directed by David Lynch, whose works are known to be very surreal, including his YouTube videos.
10 balls. Each ball has a number. Swirl the numbers. Today's number is 1.
This kind of sets the stage for his version of Dune, especially the HarKOnens, which they pronounce the HarKOnens.
The HarKOnens, Baron HarKonen.
Baron HarKonen.
The HarKOnens.
The HarKOnens.
HarKonen.
HarKOnens.
HarKOnens.
And that really bugs me. The Baron is just covered in boils, and he's floating around like he's freaking Mary Poppins or something. And then there's Raban. Raban is just always sweaty, and it looks like he's really happy about it. Just please, do not show me any more clips of him eating.
Squeeze! And squeeze! Get back!
Phaedra the HarKonnen, on the other hand,
Lovely Fade.
is played by Sting, which is just amazing. And he also looks really happy to be there. Maybe a little too happy. The stuff they get up to in this one is just wild. At one point, they kidnap Paul's teacher, and in order for him to stay alive, they give him a cat hooked up to some weird machine thing. Poor little kitty, he doesn't want to be there. Now you might be wondering, how is this cat going to keep him alive? Well, he has to milk the cat.
A poison has been introduced into your body. By milking this smooth little cat's body, you receive your antidote.
And it looks like he did, because there he is at the end of the movie with his lactating cat. And that's not the only weird animal thing they've got going on. Now, this one's actually pretty great. They decided to just shoehorn in Pugs all over the movie. He's chilling with the Atreides, he's running through burning buildings, and most important, he's leading the charge into battle. Now, there actually might be some basis for this one. Not in the books or anything, but apparently this is a callback to the European Renaissance. As far as things I didn't find so entertaining, the female characters in this version of Dune are just so much worse. Lady Jessica is just terrified and helpless for most of the movie.
Why did it leave?
So when she jumps into action and she takes down Stilgar, it makes no sense. And then there's Chani.
I am Chani.
She probably has about 4 lines in the whole movie. She's basically just not even a character. This problem might not actually be Lynch's fault though. At some point, he lost creative control over the movie and it was massively cut down.
Dune, I didn't have final cut on. It's the only film I've made that I didn't. It was squeezed because in those days, the maximum length they figured I could have is 2 hours and 17 minutes, and that's what the film is.
It got so bad to the point that he actually wanted his name removed from the movie, which it wasn't, and to this day, he considers it one of his biggest failures, and he really hates being asked about it. To that I say, define failure. I wouldn't say the movie was good, necessarily, but I was absolutely entertained. This is peak so bad that it's good territory, to the point that I watched the entire 2-hour runtime. My definition of failure, however, may not extend to the people who actually funded the movie, because it flopped so hard. Now, all the numbers I'm about to show you have been adjusted for inflation as of March 2024. Dune 84 lost $15 million. It didn't even have a low budget either. For reference, it cost about $215 to make. Now, the first of the modern Dunes cost about $119 million and made $494 million. I do still recognize maybe it's not fair to compare a movie from the 80s to something from modern times. So let's take a look at how it stacks up against a certain famous other sci-fi series from around the same time. Star Wars A New Hope cost about $56 million to make, which is actually less than a typical Hollywood movie cost, which is about $65 million, give or take. However, it made a whopping $3.9 billion. Now let's take a moment and acknowledge not everything can blow up like Star Wars did. Star Wars is a much more straightforward, accessible, easy to watch movie. That being said, with a quarter of the budget, Star Wars still looks amazing to this day. While Dune 1984 looks like this. Speaking of how the movie looks, I want to take some time and talk a little bit about how Lynch's Dune and modern Dune did some scenes differently. This is less of a complaint and more of a shout out to how far cinematography and technology have come since the 80s. I think the modern Dune does an awesome job at the whole principle of show, don't tell. I mean, just look at this scene where the Reverend Mother tests Paul.
You dismissed my mother in her own house.
Come here, kneel.
You feel that power. He is completely under control, and you can feel that. Now, here's how they did that same scene in Dune 1984.
She's using the voice. No.
It just doesn't hit nearly as hard. It hits soft, even. Here's another scene from modern Dune that I feel like has such great tension to it.
As soon as we land, run for the rocks.
I'm no expert, but I feel like those special effects would be really hard to create back in 1984. So here's how they did it instead.
Hold on.
No tension. None at all. And then there's the shields. Pretty cool, right? I wonder how they did it back when CGI was barely even a thing. Ah, I see. They went for the Roblox aesthetic. That's a choice, but there is one thing that Dune 84 will always have over modern Dune. Worm rat. If you like this, I've also released a complete series you can check out where we make more Dune cocktails and dive into how AMC botched their original Dune cocktail while simultaneously making what has got to be the best popcorn bucket of all time. But with that, I will let you go, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.